This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Ajay,
Yes.
in your DAF, I see that you have several initiatives such
Yes,
as Blue Gang for de-addiction, Smile Database for migrant laborers.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you suggest a similar initiative which you would take for forestry?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, basic idea behind taking these initiatives was to engage the community with the police so that the trust deficit between the police and the community can be bridged and the problems of the community can be solved together. So this idea can be implemented in the forest department also, because the community forest connect can be, it's very important for the forest conservation also, for the welfare of the community also. So depending upon the specific needs of that particular area, specific area I'm posted in, ma'am, the initiatives can be taken.
Can you give an example of an area you are posted in Madhya Pradesh, your home state? So any problem you have identified, because Madhya Pradesh has high scheduled tribe population.
Yes, ma'am.
And also the largest forest cover.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
definitely there are some challenges which are being faced
Yes,
by
ma'am.
these tribals.
Yes, ma'am.
So what would you implement?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, one of these initiatives was in regards to solving a tribal problem, ma'am. Ma'am, Blue Gang initiative. So, in the Betul district, which I was earlier posted, so there is this problem of mahua liquor addiction among the male tribal, particularly the Gond and the Korku community. So basically this initiative was for the de-addiction of those tribals. We basically engaged the women of that tribal community, and then we did various awareness programs also, various other drives also, and there was a significant change in the particular habits. It basically became a mass program in various villages of that particular area, and it was appreciated by the respective IG of our zone also, ma'am. So similar strategy based on that particular area that can be used.
Okay. Can you tell me, you've just mentioned minor forest produce. Can you give me a few examples of minor forest produce?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in Madhya Pradesh, Tendu Patta is the biggest produce. Then, ma'am, Mahua, that is Maduka indica. Then, Har, Bahera, Amla, ma'am, Shahid, Lakh. These are the prominent producers.
How are tendu leaves, what are tendu leaves used for? How are they sold?
Ma'am, basically, they are used for beedi making. They are sold through the tribal federations, and since it is the nationalized produce in Madhya Pradesh, so forest department has the monopoly in purchasing that produce from the tribals, and also the sale happens through the forest department only.
Tendu leaves are used for beedi making,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it is bad for health. So don't you think this is a minor forest produce, or the entire process of tendu leaves is bad? It goes against the health principles and should be banned, similar to ITC and similar to smoking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is an issue that BD is a health hazard, but at the same time, ma'am, demand for BD is there in the market, and banning it even when the demand is there might lead to the illegal production of it, as we have seen in the case of liquor ban also in certain states. So, ma'am, yes, ma'am. So we have to focus on the reduction in the demand through the mass awareness campaigns and various other alternatives to it, which are less harmful or maybe not harmful. So after that, yes, we can make a reduction on the supply also, and then overall health will be good.
One last question from me. You've done your optional is agricultural engineering.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me any two recent breakthroughs in two advancements in agricultural engineering?
Ma'am, one is precision agriculture that is now being produced, done, practiced very, and second is the use of artificial intelligence in the crop
Anything
estimation.
apart from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a breakthrough in every field.
Yes, ma'am.
So apart from artificial intelligence.
Ma'am, this zero budget natural farming that I believe is a very noble and natural good concept that can be applied in the agriculture, which will help in solving the problem of debt crisis of the farmers by reduction in the cost of inputs, ma'am.
And what is zero budget natural farming?
Ma'am, it is a concept of farming where the natural processes are followed for the agriculture. For example,
How is it different from organic farming?
yes, ma'am. It is different from organic farming. Basically, the purpose is same to produce the output which is beneficial to the health of the consumers. But here the focus is on reduction of the cost of the inputs. For example, the tillage done is very minimal. The focus is on the microbial use for the organic. Secondly, the vermicompost usage is not done in the case of zero budget natural farming, while it's extensively used for organic farming, ma'am. So basically, its another name is nothing to do farming. The minimal intervention to the soil processes is done in the case of zero budget natural farming. So the cost is also minimized, the soil health is also very good, and overall productivity is also
If it
good.
is so good, then why would farmers actually cultivate? Why would there be tilling and other measures which are being taken? Because zero budget natural farming, the cost is less, the productivity is good. Then what are the challenges? Why was it not being done?
Ma'am, first challenge is the lack of awareness. Farmers are not actually aware of the benefits that can arise by using this farming. Secondly, ma'am, by certain estimates, it has been said that for some years the productivity declines in that particular farm. After that, the productivity comes to the constant level, but for some years it declines. So farmers get scared that they might not get the adequate remuneration out of it. Ma'am, thirdly, ma'am, the market connectivity for such premium products is also not there. So if they get a better price even for the less produce, so that can definitely
help. Is there any impact on the shelf life of the agriculture or the agricultural produce in zero budget natural farming?
Ma'am, I'm not specifically aware of that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Hello, Ajay.
Hello, sir.
Can you tell me what is a cybercrime?
Yes, sir. Cybercrime is any crime done with the use of a computing device, sir. So,
Computing device.
yes, sir.
Okay. The frauds that are happening through mobile phones, are they cybercrime also?
Yes, sir.
They are not computers, but are they computers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Any computing device for that matter,
Okay.
using the mobile or the computers.
Okay. So what was your approach? You have said that you solved cybercrime, interstate cybercrime. So how were you able to crack the case?
Yes, sir. In most of the cyber crimes, the basic approach is, firstly, we try to find out about the IP address of the particular device from which the crime has happened. So that data we get from the internet service provider. So once we can obtain by sending a notice under the CRPC 91.
And there are also services like VPN services, or you can mask your IP address. How is that cracked then?
Yes, sir. It becomes difficult in that case when it is marked, but we send the request, but it takes time for them
To process. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
What is the next step?
Then, sir, after that, once we get the IP address, then we try to get the details of the mobile number with which was used for the providing of the internet connection to that device. So once we get the that mobile number, we try to get the CDR details. So from that, we can find out the A party or the B party, and then accordingly we can trace the location also of that particular device. Second, sir, is part of it is to find out the flow of the finance that has happened. For example, if a UPI fraud has taken place, then we'll try to find out through which account it has been transferred, and from that, which account it has transferred. So we try to find out the trail of that whole transaction.
Okay. So from what I understood, that seems a fairly straightforward process, that you gather data and then you But why do you think that the number has increased? Every day you read in the newspapers that so many crimes have happened, so many frauds have happened. And in fact, there are some places in Jharkhand that are actually notorious for this kind of a crime. So why do you think that they are proliferating? Is there a gap in law enforcement, that police is not able to crack all the cases and bring the criminals to punishment?
Yes, sir. From the law enforcement perspective, yes, sir, definitely there is a lack of infrastructure and the personnel who are trained to track the cyber crimes. And the National Cyber Security Policy has made a provision that 5 lakh personnel in the cyber field, they will be trained regarding that. Also, sir, there is a lack of cyber forensics. For example, in Madhya Pradesh, there is only one cyber lab in the whole state. So that can be improved upon. Second reason for the proliferation of crimes is the increase in the number of mobile and the internet users. So that has also led to them becoming a vulnerable target for the cyber criminals. Thirdly, sir, we can say the lack of employment opportunities, that is also one of the reasons. So they get easy money in this form, sir.
What are the measures that you suggest? How can this be? For me, it has become like it's an epidemic kind of a thing. Every day in the newspaper, Times of India, it is full of such news that people have been robbed, and sometimes it's huge money. So how do you think, and do you think that it is still not a top priority area for police? It has not become the priority area because you don't see these kind of news in the channels. A murder takes place, it becomes a national news, but this kind of fraud is happening every day, but it is not news channels are not highlighting it. So probably it is low on the radar of the police services as well.
Sir, I would beg to differ, sir. It's very high on the priority, and the police understands the consequences it has on the particular person, particularly if the person is from the poor background. For them, it is a big issue.
So don't you think in that case, Madhya Pradesh police should be pressing for, creation of more labs, like you said, forensic labs, they are not there. So such kind of infrastructure support, and in terms of both infrastructure and personnel, should be there.
Yes, sir. It should be there, sir, definitely.
But it is not there.
Yes, sir.
So where is the gap in terms of resources?
Yes, sir. Mainly in terms of resources, sir. It takes a lot on the resources, but the government has been planning to provide such labs on a zonal basis. Also, the cyber cells have been set up at the district level, so there has been a long-term plan to institute such cyber cells at the level of the police station. So that has been planning.
Okay, thank you, Ajay. I'll pass on to the Honorable Chairperson.
Ajay, Morena and Bhind.
Yes, sir.
The problem of these areas are ravines.
Yes, sir.
How do you think that it can be addressed?
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe it can be done through a multi-pronged approach, sir. Firstly, we have to think about the alternative usage of that ravine land. For example, the tourism can be developed over there, like the ravine safari that has been started only 3 months back over in that place. Secondly, sir, it can be utilized for the solar power installation. And the government has been planning in that area also, sir. Thirdly, sir, we have to do the digital elevation modeling of that particular area to find out which are the areas which can be utilized for the agriculture purposes or for the afforestation or reforestation purposes. So for that, we have to identify those areas. Further, certain varieties of trees like Acacia nilotica or the Acacia catechu or the Prosopis cineraria, these can be used for the forestation of the identified suitable areas.
Why do you think at the first instance the ravines were formed? I am more inclined for restoration, not for further damage. So if I go for tourism and etc., I will be damaging the soil again. So what do you think? How can I restore the area?
So yes, restoration should be the key, sir. So, sir, regarding that, if the tourism is to be done there, it has to be maintained that it should be ecotourism, should not impact the ecology of that area. Sir, yes, sir.
Boli.
So regarding the reasons that were there for the formulation of ravines, firstly is the deforestation that has been there in the past century, sir. Secondly, the type of climate that is there, it's very hot climate, it often leads to that. Thirdly, sir, the soil type there is very thin. The alluvial soil that is present, it's not very thick soil, so that does not support very dense vegetation. Fourthly, the rainfall in that particular area, that is also not very high to support a very thick vegetation. Also, it has been related with the geological cycles that regarding that, sir. So due to all of these factors, the natural factors and the anthropogenic factors, the ravines were formed, sir.
Now, again, this is a further extension of Thar desert, if I say so. Okay, the Rajasthan hot area, desert area, except for a small green patch in Savai Madhopur, this is an extension of Aravalli's desert area. Now, do you think that restoration of water table can help me in some way?
Yes, sir, definitely it will help. Restoration is the key, and first focus should be on...
What should I do for restoration of water level?
Yes, sir. So, the temporary and the permanent gully control structures, they can be made, like the check dams or the using the grassy vegetation, so that the infiltration or the percolation capacity of that can be improved. And also to reduce the gully erosion in that area, which is the prime cause of formation of these, that should be focused on so that it does not happen by using the mulching or by the fencing of that particular area, or by the structures like the drop spillway of the drop inlet spillway or the grassed waterways. So that can be used, sir.
Okay, so it is not that the problem cannot be solved. There is a way out.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. Do you think that Bidi Patta collection is some way associated with Naxalism?
Yes, sir, it should be. Yes, it is actually. But since Naxalism is not much in Madhya Pradesh, sir,
but there are other places. You can draw a simile.
Yes, sir.
Not sure.
Not very sure, sir. I can take a guess, sir, but not very sure.
What do you think is the India's refugee policy? There are many illegal immigrants coming. Since you have worked with the migrants, what should be our strategy to tackle illegal immigrants?
Yes, sir. So there are two international conventions regarding that. One is the Refugee Convention of 1951, and then a protocol on that of 1967. India is not a signatory to them. So basic policy of India, I think, should be on the principles of non-refoulement. So that firstly, if any refugee is coming to India, the focus should be that it should not be sent back to that particular country if there are chances of exploitation of that particular refugee in that particular region. Secondly, sir, yes, climate migration is going to happen and the refugees problem is going to be there. So first, we should make sure that do our best so that this problem can be mitigated, so that such migration do not happen. And if at all it is happening, we have to take up a humane perspective regarding that and may provide certain amenities so that from a human perspective, so that their quality of life can also be assured. But we have to balance it with the people, with the citizens of that particular area, so that their rights are also not affected. So a balance can be maintained between them, sir. And also this schemes like the skill development of them, or also like food security to them, that also can be provided to certain extent, depending upon the need of that.
Thank you very much. We end your interview here.
Overall, I think it was good. Most of your answers were really good. Baki, I don't have anything specific to add. I wish you all the best for the final interview.